Alright, hey everybody, this is Minus 67 again. It's been a while since we've done some Flames of War. I'm playing here against, I'm a DDJ, and what are you playing today?
Got a British rifle company out of Fallschirmjager.
Okay, and tell us what you got.
So what we got is we have one full platoon of British infantry, a second full platoon of British infantry, a platoon of mortars back here, a platoon of Royal Engineers, a flamethrower. We've got over here, we have two teams of 3 Bren gun carriers with heavy machine guns in the hull and a bazooka or Piat. We've got a unit of 17-pounder anti-tank destroyers, and then 2 platoons of Shermans with a Firefly.
Okay, and you're playing the Confident Train. Alright, I'm going to be playing the 6th Fallschirmjager Division from the Hell's Highway book. I've got... Oh, and you are an infantry company, correct? Okay. I'm also an infantry company. I've got 3 identical platoons of Fearless Vet Fallschirmjager guys, 10 strong each. I've got 2 Yag Panthers to pretty much bust open anything. I've got Mr. Vanderheit, who's in purple here. He's a special character, higher command team. He also features these 4 Panzerfaust trap teams, which will come up in the game. And I also have a unit of stump mortars for some smoke, and some heavy machine guns that have combat attached into the unit so that they can bolster their numbers. And we're going to be playing the free-for-all mission just because it's one of the easiest to understand for you guys, and we want to show how infantry companies should be playing instead of just sitting around the whole time. So we'll check back in after the first turn and see what's going on. Here at the end of turn 1, it's pretty boring on the first turn for infantry though. Abe advanced broadly across the front with his tanks kind of sneaking around, scared of my trap teams. Sorry, we forgot the smoke templates. We're using these rings to be roughly about the size, so I smoked his observer up there on the hill to keep him from bombarding me. And over here to protect my objective on the left, I dug in one of my platoons. The other 2 advanced with the help of Stormtrooper in such a way so they're making a big broad front. And my 2 Yag Panthers took some random shots, some infantry across the field and missed. And we'll see what we can do on turn 2. Alright, here at the end of turn 2, Abe made a pretty gutsy move and moved both his tank platoons out here. Did a pretty good job of guarding them all from the tank teams right now because of the recon ability of the universal carriers. And he took some pot shots at the Yag Panthers, didn't do anything. He did beat up this platoon in the middle. He killed 5 teams, so that was a pretty bad turn. In response, he also smoked my Yag Panthers, so then had to move out of it. In response, my Yag Panthers moved up on the hill and blew up a Sherman. And my mortars attempted foolishly to fire into this clump of troops here in the middle. And despite hitting on the first shot, I missed. I didn't hit a single person. However, over here, the dark green platoon shot into Abe's rifles and did 6 hits pinning him, and he lost 3 teams. So that, along with the Stormtrooper move, made him get into cover. So we'll see what happens on turn 3. All right, here on turn 3, Abe moved around, and despite having sat still, I failed my dug-in roll on his turn. Or on my last turn, which I forgot to mention, and he shot the piss out of this squad, even though he needed 5s. He hit me something like 15 times, needing 5s. Even though he had a lot of machine guns, it still was very, very high. His mortar needed a 5 and rolled it on the first one and pinned me, which I failed to unpin on my turn. He shot at the Yag Panthers needing 6s, and he had 8 shots, and he hit 4 times on 6s, and I rolled a 1, but luckily he didn't blow it up. Sensing that something needed to be done, I jumped out all my tank teams as far away as they could be, and I assaulted 2 into his platoon of universal carriers. 1 failed their tank terror, the other one didn't, but it got shot in defensive fire. The other one ran up and killed one, or one of them ran up and hit it, but Abe rolled a 6, which is the only possible result he can get to not just instantly blow up. But luckily he broke off because he's recon, and I killed it. That one then did a follow-up assault into the tanks and hit it, which Abe, of course, rolled a 5, being the only result that he could have done to not instantly die, and then counterattacked on a 4+ and killed me. And then my second tank team that was going to assault into them has now failed his tank terror. So anytime Abe got to roll dice, he deflected it. And I even hit these teams with the mortar, and the only one I hit, he managed to deflect by rolling a 3. So, and on my turn, these guys failed to unpin on a 3+ to keep these guys from running away and unpinning on it because I needed Vanderheit. And then now it'll be Abe's turn 4. Alright, here in turn 4, got a little bit of a lucky break here. Abe did not get back in with one of his tanks, and all the shooting on the Yag Panthers, despite a couple hits, didn't do anything, and his smoke, the important part, totally whiffed. So even on 4 dice, he just completely whiffed to smoke the Yag Panthers. My return fire, the Yag Panthers murdered 2 more of the tank destroyers and bailed out the last one. So we'll see if he sticks around. And then one of the tank trap teams popped out and ran over and punched the tank from last turn that I bailed. So that platoon is now down to 2. However, the counter assault ran him over, and the other guy didn't have anything to do. We did some pot shots and some pinned down infantry over there, which didn't do anything. They failed their stormtrooper because apparently I'm not allowed to have nice things. And even my mortars with 4 dice rolls on it needing 3s rolled 4 ones in a row. So we'll see what turn 5 brings. All right, here on Abe's turn, he dropped the mortar on these guys again. He ranged on the 3rd time. We've been having some mortar problems between us and killed a guy, but I unpinned and managed to keep moving. His tanks made a mad dash over here to the side of my Yag Panthers, and despite hitting once and me failing it, Abe only bailed me. And then I got back in, and we blew up all the tanks. These 2 lonely gentlemen jumped over here, made their tank terror, survived Abe's 4 hits, I made all the save, killed the tank in here, leaving the sole survivor on that side, and forcing this one last universal carrier to run away. The other Yag Panther finished off the tank destroyers who are now dead. Or he actually only hit 1 time, and I failed the firepower, but Abe ran away for me conveniently. And we did a lot of shooting, and we repinned the white squad, who continues to be stuck in the building. And we'll see what happens. Alright, Abe's turn again. Saw him sneak around with the Piat and take a pod shot at the side of the Yag Panther and hit, but again failed to blow it up. He also hit it in the side. He missed in the side with this Sherman. He did some other shooting, all of it irrelevant. And then proceeded on to my turn, where my infantry continued to move up and seemed to have the light teams over. Oh, we forgot the most entertaining battle. 2 rifle teams assaulted this lonely guy and got in there and whiffed, and I killed both of them over 4 rounds of combat because apparently Abe can't roll. So his crazy rolls have completely reversed. However, on this turn, I shot this tank in the side and bailed it, but failed the tank terror to assault it. So yeah, and these 2 guys, hoping to repeat their deed from last turn, failed their tank terror to assault, so couldn't do anything. And the Yag Panthers shot 2 shots at a machine gun into this Universal Carrier squad and blew up one of them, the platoon commander, but couldn't finish the deed. And the other Yag Panther shot and completely missed the last Firefly. So Abe has 2 Fireflies, his 3 platoons that I could have wiped out this turn, and I wiped out none. And he could have finally killed the Yag Panthers, but again, also did none. So a lot of dice were thrown, and virtually nothing happened. So we'll see what happens next turn. Alright, here in Abe's turn again, he just utterly surrounded this tank with these 2 Yag Panthers. He had 2 Piats, he had a Sherman, which was here, and he still had the Firefly here. And they all shot and managed to bail 1. Or bail both. They didn't. They stuck around. His other shoot, he mortared 8 guys in the trees and killed 1. And that was it. On my turn, one of the Yag Panthers got back in and killed the last Firefly of that squad, which made this Sherman run away. And then my little tank hunter team shot its Panzerfaust again and rolled a 6 for firepower and blew this guy up. And we assaulted into here and killed the whole squad for a loss of 1 guy. And then did a breakthrough assault on the remaining guy who'd been bailed out for like 1,000 turns and killed him. But his little buddy Piat decided to stick around. And Abe has lost 4 platoons. It's looking pretty bad, but he still has enough to not be at company morale. So we'll see what the next turn brings. Alright, we're winding down here. Abe again surrounded me with Piats. Bailed them both. Or bailed 1, and I finally passed a save versus the Piat. And they both got back in, and one of them blew up the other one, and they ran off. And there's still 1 little Piat here. These 2 guys have been running around. These 2 green guys failed their tank terror again to assault the Universal Carriers. And I took up positions in the building and shot 2 of the blue platoon over there, who passed their company morale with the help of the company commander, and Abe, or platoon morale, and Abe passed his company morale. So the British fight on valiantly, I suppose. I don't know, Abe, what do you think? So there's just this smoking graveyard of tanks. So we'll see what Abe can pull out. Alright, Abe valiantly charged in his Royal Engineers and his Blue Platoon. His Blue Platoon charged in first, and I only had 6 shots. And like a jackass, I rolled 5 hits, pinning him and killing one in the process. But they stuck around. And then his Royal Engineers pinned me with a flamethrower and assaulted, and got in and killed a guy before they were mercilessly slaughtered. And then we went in and shot him 14 times to pin him and wiped him out. And now he's down to a company commander and a mortar. Do you yield, sir?
No.
All right.
Never.
We'll see what Abe does on his last turn.
Fight on!
Pass your company morale, sir.
All right.
Hey, that's a 2 if you can't read it.
The mortars retreat.
The mortars and the company commander, the only survivors of the battle, run away.
They stroll off.
They stroll off.
It's tea time.
All right, so that was LateWar 1750, 6 Fallschirmjager versus Rifle Company from Fortress Europe. So guys, let us know if you want to see anything else, and we'll check you guys in the next battle report.
All right, Brandon, tell us how that went.
It started off really bad because Abe just kept rolling amazingly and amazingly. It never really panned out in anything bad, and one of my platoons early on got really shredded really hard. But we stuck to the plan, which is keep advancing on the right side with the infantry, looking for targets, and once it became obvious that it was going to be an attrition game versus actually taking the objectives, that's just what we stuck with. And the Ag Panthers were retarded. Like, they just took a million shots and just frustrated everything. They counted for, what, probably 12 tank kills easily, or 10. So it was utterly ridiculous. And they just sat there and just blew everything up and just spited everything. And I had no reason to even win that game. And I won at 6-1 on the Flames of War scoring. So everything was fine. I mean, I stuck to the plan, but there was no, like, advanced tactics besides watch Abe roll pitifully. So it went fine, I guess.
And you, Abe, how did it go for you?
Well, the British decided that it was tea time, and we decided to walk away then.
I mean, no one can say you didn't stick it out. You had 5 stands on the field.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think in a lot of ways I was able to outmaneuver Brandon's a little slower army, but none of my penetrations actually did anything, and when that happens, you can't do much. Just got some bad rolls there. Was aggressive and got beat up for that when none of the rolls paid off. But that's the game. So Mazel tov, and we'll see you guys next time.